The Earth doesn't forget. Layer after layer of sediment, ash, and time stacked like the pages of an ancient journal, buried under everything we've built. For millions of years, monstrous creatures roamed freely across oceans, swamps, and forests. But when the world changed, not all of them vanished. Some sank deeper, into the crust, into myth, into silence. There are places no sunlight touches, caves where fossils breathe, tunnels where something moves but leaves no trace, trenches too deep for machines to reach. And in these forgotten zones, relics of Earth's darkest ages may still linger, teeth intact, instincts sharpened, and patience wore thin. These aren't just fossils, they're warnings written in bone. These are the 15 prehistoric monsters that lurk beneath the Earth. And trust us, the number 7 will leave you in awe. Number 15, Arthropleura. It looked like a nightmare in segments. Arthropleura wasn't just a giant millipede, it was the giant millipede. Roughly 8 feet long, armored like a tank, and wide enough to fill a hallway, it once slithered across the forest floors of the Carboniferous period, crunching through decaying plant matter with a jawless, lipless face. Its fossilized tracks found deep underground in ancient coal mines tell us it wasn't some lumbering crawler. It moved with purpose, its legs working in waves, quietly sweeping the underbrush. While it lacked venom or fangs, its sheer size would have made it untouchable in its prime. No predator dared to challenge it. Its body is flattened low to the ground, perfect for slipping beneath logs or into narrow crevices, and while science says it's long extinct, the depths of Earth's untouched cave systems still leave room for speculation. What if something that big still crawls, just further beneath the surface, where no human foot has stepped? Number 14. Anomalocaris. Before jaws, before bones, before anything walked on land, there was Anomalocaris. It patrolled the oceans like a living torpedo, slicing through the warm Cambrian waters with a segmented body and large fin-like lobes that rippled along its sides. Its eyes, compound and stalked, were among the first of their kind, designed to spot prey before it had a chance to move. Its mouth looked like a rotating pineapple ring, circular and alien, with rows of serrated plates made for shredding trilobites and soft-bodied creatures like wet tissue. Fossils show up in shale buried deep beneath what used to be sea floors. Today, those layers sit beneath deserts and mountains, but parts of the ocean floor still remain unreachable, still untouched. Hydrothermal vents pump heat and chemicals into black water trenches. If anything like Anomalocaris survived, it wouldn't need the surface. It never did. It came from darkness, fed in darkness, and might still be waiting there just beyond the light. Number 13, Hallucigenia. Some creatures feel like mistakes. Hallucigenia looks like someone tried to invent a worm, but gave up halfway through and threw in spikes for fun. With its legs underneath, spine on top, and a head that had to be guessed at 3 times before scientists got it right, this unreal bizarre invertebrate lived more than 500 million years ago in shallow oceans. Its fossil is paper-thin, but its presence is unforgettable. Tiny, barely a few centimeters long, but covered in needle-like spikes. It wasn't built to dominate. It was built to survive, to avoid getting chewed on by anything with an appetite and a jaw. But what if it didn't need to evolve further? What if the perfect defense didn't go extinct but simply retreated? Small creatures like this don't need much room to hide, just cracks in the earth, damp tunnels, and silence. No one ever thought something this small would live that long, but then again, no one thought it looked real to begin with. Number 12. Tullimonstrum. There are many fossils found in our world that spark debates. Then there's the Tully monster, still unsolved, still unclassified, still deeply weird, found in narrow bands of fossil-rich shale in Illinois. This 300-million-year-old creature doesn't fit into any known group. It had a torpedo-shaped body, stalked eyes, and a long tubular snout ending in what looked like a pincer. No skeleton, no scales, no rules. It was soft-bodied and flexible, but what it hunted and how it moved is still uncertain. We know not so much about this guy. The only thing we do know is that it lived in murky, oxygen-deprived water, an environment some deep underground lakes and aquifers still replicate today. It's not that people expect to find a live Tully monster, it's that they wouldn't be surprised. Its entire existence already broke the rules once. And deep beneath the surface, where light has never been and pressure warps the natural world, rules don't hold much weight anyway. Number 11. Megalania. Australia has always had a habit of producing wildlife that borders on the unbelievable and the outrageous. Megalania took that habit and ran with it. Picture a monitor lizard the size of a pickup truck over 20 feet long, armored in scales and powered by muscle thick enough to tear through bone. It didn't just roam the open. Megalania could vanish into cave systems and thick scrub, ambushing its prey like a crocodile on land. Its bite likely carried venom, like its smaller modern relative, the Komodo dragon. That venom wouldn't kill immediately, but it would stop you from running, from clotting, from getting away. Aboriginal legends speak of giant lizards, and some claim these weren't stories, just sightings that faded with time. As parts of Australia's desert remain untouched, riddled with underground sinkholes and lava tubes, the possibility of something big still moving beneath the dust doesn't feel entirely impossible. Megalania might not be extinct. It might just be deeper than we thought. Alright guys, now let's talk about number 10, Megarachne. For a while, scientists thought Megarachne was the largest spider that ever lived, but it wasn't a spider at all. This creature was actually a type of sea scorpion, or Eurypterid, that lived over 300 million years ago in freshwater environments. And it was built like a horror prop, with a body span approaching 2 feet and legs suited for crawling along swamp beds and possibly even muddy underground chambers. Megarachne didn't spin webs. It ambushed. Its claws weren't delicate, they were blades. And its flat body let it press against rocks and riverbeds like it wasn't even there. Whether it hunted in tunnels or shallow silt, it used low visibility to its advantage. Prey never saw it coming. Even after its spider identity was debunked, the dread stayed. Because something that size with those claws crawling underfoot in pitch-black sediment, it doesn't need to be a spider to be wrong. It just needs to be real, and it was. Number 9. Platyhystrix. The animal kingdom has always loved adding sails to backs, and Platyhystrix was one of the first to try it. Picture a squat amphibian, somewhere between a toad and a crocodile, with a ridge of tall spines forming a fan along its spine. It lived over 300 million years ago, haunting swampy basins and shaded undergrowth in what would later become North America. Its body was flat, muscular, and low to the ground, built not for speed but for lurking. Some believe that sails help regulate temperature. Others think it was a visual threat. Either way, the creature looked like something you'd find draped across a muddy cave entrance, half submerged and waiting. Fossils have been found under layers of collapsed limestone, long buried in cave systems that might still stretch for miles. If anything with this lineage had reason to stay underground, heat, safety, isolation, it could have adapted quietly, far from the surface. And if it did, it wouldn't be the first amphibian to trade sunlight for silence. What's your thoughts about it? Number 8. Cameroceras. Not every horror from prehistory had legs. Some floated in silence, wrapped in armor, and struck without warning. Cameroceras was one of the largest cephalopods to ever exist, basically a squid inside a massive tapered shell stretching up to 30 feet long. It lived over 470 million years ago, back when most life still clung to the ocean floor. Its mouth sat at the center of a ring of tentacles, and its body was built for deep water. No bones, no fear of pressure, just silent propulsion. It didn't need speed. It had size, suction, and stealth. Ancient ocean beds that held its fossils now sit far beneath today's continents. Some of those beds turned into cave systems, others into reservoirs of brine locked under rock. If any of Cameroceras' descendants shrank, adapted, or just stayed deep enough, they wouldn't be easy to find. And if they evolved like other cephalopods with intelligence, camouflage, and aggression, they might not want to be found at all. Number 7. Beelzebufo. This wasn't your backyard frog. Beelzebufo was a monster that lived in the ancient swamps of Madagascar over 70 million years ago. Thick-skinned, armor-headed, and nearly the size of a beach ball, it earned the nickname Devil Frog for good reason. It didn't croak, it waited, half buried in mud, motionless, with only its bulging eyes above the surface. It used its massive jaws to ambush anything within lunging distance. That included insects, lizards, and possibly even small dinosaurs. The bite was crushing, stronger than some modern crocodilians according to fossil reconstructions. Unlike modern amphibians that flee, Beelzebufo owned its space. Its stubby legs weren't built for jumping. They were planted for power, and the layered skull offered protection few predators could bother testing. It didn't climb trees or sing for mates. It crouched, waited, and bit hard. The earth didn't shape this frog gently. It armored it and gave it jaws that closed like a trap. Nothing cute, nothing harmless. Just a prehistoric jaw with legs. Number 6. Gigantopithecus. Some say it's a myth. Others call it an ape that time forgot. What do you think? Gigantopithecus stood nearly 10 feet tall and weighed close to 1,200 pounds. A towering primate that once roamed the bamboo forests of ancient Southeast Asia. It didn't walk fully upright, more like a massive gorilla that leaned forward with power behind every step. Fossilized jaws and teeth are all we have, but they speak loudly. This thing could chew through bark like candy. It vanished roughly 100,000 years ago, but parts of its habitat, limestone caves and deep jungle sinkholes, are still sealed off and barely explored. Locals across China and northern India tell stories that don't line up with modern animals. Something tall, hair-covered, silent, watching. There's no proof it survived, but there's also no proof it didn't. And when you consider how easily something this size could vanish into the mist of an unmapped cave system, those old bones start to feel less like an ending and more like a footprint that never stopped walking. Number 5. Megalograptus. Not every sea monster came with teeth. Some had claws. Big ones. Megalograptus was an ancient sea scorpion, a eurypterid that looked like a crustacean engineered in a fever dream. Nearly 4 feet long, armored from end to end, with a set of grasping pincers that could have snapped a fish in half without effort. It lived during the Ordovician period, long before most land animals existed, and patrolled the shorelines and riverbeds like a quiet menace. Most fossils have been pulled from siltstone layers buried deep beneath Appalachia, ancient seabeds long forgotten. Some of these strata rest under cave systems and salt mines, never fully explored. And while the creature itself is extinct, its design wasn't a fluke. Scorpions, horseshoe crabs, and other arthropods still use that same armored efficiency today. The idea that something similar, scaled down or even leaner, could still be crawling through saline groundwater tunnels isn't fiction. It's biology with time. Some monsters don't roar. They just keep walking sideways through rock and time. Number 4. Edaphosaurus. Edaphosaurus wasn't the beast you'd fear on sight. But that's what made it interesting. It looked slow and awkward, with a sail on its back and a face built for chewing plants, not tearing meat. But this early Permian reptile thrived where most things died, hot, dry, cracked earth. And it knew how to work the terrain. Its wide, flat feet and low center of gravity let it stay stable while crossing unstable, muddy, or shifting ground. During intense heat, Edaphosaurus likely dug shallow wallows, curling under the soil to preserve moisture and shield its organs from surface temperatures. That sail, possibly for thermoregulation, heating up fast in the morning light and cooling down in underground burrows come evening. It didn't fight for dominance. It survived by keeping close to the ground and away from jaws. This wasn't evolution's peak. It was evolution's pivot, showing how to live beneath the heat, not just beside it. It wasn't built to rule. It was built to outlast. Number 3. Lystrosaurus. If survival had a face, it would probably look like Lystrosaurus, stubby, pig-sized, tusked, and completely unbothered by mass extinction events. This weird little creature crawled out of the Permian period and basically watched the rest of the planet die, then casually kept going. Its skeleton says everything: sturdy legs, thick ribs, and a blunt skull with 2 tusks poking from its upper jaw. Not a predator, not fast, but stubborn in the way only survivors are. What makes Lystrosaurus strange isn't how it lived, but where it lived. Fossils have turned up in Antarctica, India, Africa, and often in what used to be underground burrows. Unlike its flashier prehistoric neighbors, this one didn't need claws or fangs. It needed tunnels, dirt, shelter, and that makes it a perfect candidate for creatures that went underground and never came back up. It's not flashy, but it's persistent. And if anything like it adapted just a little further, it could still be wriggling through deep earth, tusks first, and heartbeats steady. Number 2. Deinosuchus. You can dress it up however you want. It was still a croc the size of a school bus. Deinosuchus lived during the late Cretaceous and ruled over prehistoric rivers like a reptilian god. It could grow over 30 feet long, with jaws strong enough to crush bone like cardboard. It didn't just eat fish or turtles, it hunted dinosaurs. Its fossils have been dug up across the US, Texas, Montana, Georgia, buried under the layers of old estuaries and swamplands. It wasn't some slow ambush predator. Deinosuchus could move when it needed to, and its bite was more than force. It was strategy. It didn't let go. The idea of giant crocodiles disappearing completely is shaky at best. Modern crocs already lurk in underground rivers and flooded cave systems, surviving in total darkness. If a scaled-down Deinosuchus line kept going, adapted to the right environment, and stayed buried where no one looked, it wouldn't be extinct, just hiding in places no one swims. Number 1. Basilosaurus. Despite the name, it wasn't a lizard. It was an early whale, and it didn't glide gracefully like today's ocean giants. Basilosaurus moved like a sea serpent, long and narrow, twisting its 60-foot body through the waves with brute force. It had sharp, conical teeth built for tearing flesh, not filtering krill. It ruled the oceans over 40 million years ago, but its bones have been found in places that are now desert, buried under thick sandstone and rock. Entire skeletons, jaws full of teeth, coiled like frozen snakes beneath what were once ancient seas. Its body shape wasn't built for shallow waters. It thrived in depth, probably chasing prey into trenches and underwater canyons. And deep oceanic trenches today still remain uncharted. If something like Basilosaurus kept evolving, not softer but smarter, leaner, more elusive, it wouldn't surface often. Maybe not at all. What lies in the black zones of the ocean isn't a mystery because we're not curious. It's a mystery because we can't survive long enough to find out. We hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe for more awesome content like this. Thanks for tuning in with us, and we'll see you soon in the next one.